Who was Joan of Arc? Why is she known as the Maid of Orleans? What is her hidden legacy? Why is she considered France's heroic peasant warrior? Joan of Arc, also known as the Maid of Orleans, is one of the most iconic figures in French history. Her story of a young peasant girl leading French forces to victory during the Hundred Years' War has captivated generations and continues to inspire to this day. However, beyond the well-known tales of her military achievements and subsequent martyrdom lies a deeper and often overlooked legacy. Let's explore the hidden aspects of Joan of Arc's legacy, examining how her life and actions have influenced French national identity, religious thought, and cultural expressions. The early life and call to arms. The peasant roots of Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc was born in 1412 in Domremy, a small village in northeastern France. She came from a humble peasant family, a background that starkly contrasted with the nobility typically associated with military leadership. Joan's early life was unremarkable, marked by the simple routines of rural existence. However, her devout faith set her apart. From a young age, Joan displayed an intense religiosity, often spending hours in prayer. The significance of Joan's peasant origins cannot be overstated. At a time when social hierarchies were rigidly enforced, her rise to prominence challenged the norms of medieval society. Joan's peasant background served as a powerful symbol of divine intervention and egalitarianism. It suggested that greatness and divine favor were not confined to the noble classes but could manifest in even the most unlikely individuals. The divine voices and Joan's mission. At the age of 13, Joan began experiencing visions and hearing voices, which she later identified as Saints Michael, Catherine, and Margaret. These voices instructed her to support Charles VII and help drive the English out of France. The messages were clear. Joan was to lift the siege of Orleans and ensure Charles's coronation as the rightful king of France. Joan's claims of divine guidance were met with skepticism, but she eventually gained an audience with Charles VII. Her conviction and the detailed knowledge she possessed about the Dauphin's affairs, which she could not have known through conventional means, persuaded Charles to provide her with an army. Joan's mission was not just military, but also symbolic. She embodied the belief that France was divinely ordained to be free from English rule, a concept that would resonate deeply with the French populace. Military leadership and victories. The Siege of Orleans and Joan's leadership. In 1429, Joan of Arc led French troops in a series of engagements to lift the English siege of Orleans. Her presence and leadership were pivotal in turning the tide of the siege. Joan's courage and determination inspired the French soldiers, who were initially hesitant to follow a young woman into battle. Her ability to lead troops into combat and her strategic acumen were remarkable, especially considering her lack of formal military training. The lifting of the siege was a turning point in the Hundred Years' War. It not only marked a significant military victory for the French, but also served as a powerful propaganda tool. Joan's success at Orleans galvanized French national spirit and weakened the English hold on France. The victory was seen as a divine endorsement of Charles VII's legitimacy and Joan's mission. The coronation of Charles VII. Following the victory at Orleans, Joan of Arc continued her campaign, leading French forces to further successes. Her ultimate goal was the coronation of Charles VII, which she believed was divinely ordained. In July 1429, Charles was crowned at Reims Cathedral, a significant event that Joan had foretold. The coronation was a major propaganda victory, bolstering Charles's legitimacy and Joan's standing as a divine messenger. The coronation also solidified Joan's role in French history. She was no longer just a military leader. She was a national icon who had played a crucial role in legitimizing the French monarchy. The event symbolized the unity of the French people under a divinely sanctioned ruler and the eventual liberation of France from foreign domination. Trial and martyrdom. Joan's capture and trial. Joan's capture by the Burgundians in 1430 marked the beginning of her downfall. She was handed over to the English, who sought to discredit her and weaken the French cause. Joan was put on trial for charges including heresy, witchcraft, and cross-dressing, for wearing men's military attire. The trial was politically motivated, aimed at undermining the legitimacy of Charles VII, whom Joan had helped to crown. Despite the harsh conditions and psychological pressure, Joan remained steadfast in her faith and her claims of divine guidance. Her trial was marked by her clear and fearless defense of her actions and beliefs. However, the outcome was never in doubt. Joan was convicted and sentenced to death by burning. The execution and immediate aftermath. Joan of Arc was executed on May 30th, 1431, in Rouen. Her death was intended to serve as a deterrent and a message to the French that opposition to English rule would be met with severe consequences. However, her execution had the opposite effect. Joan's martyrdom galvanized the French cause, turning her into a symbol of national resistance and divine justice. The immediate aftermath of Joan's death saw a shift in public perception. Many who had doubted her now viewed her as a martyr and a saint. Her death highlighted the brutal measures the English were willing to take to maintain their hold on France and further legitimize the French resistance. Joan's martyrdom also planted the seeds for her eventual canonization, as her life and death became the subject of numerous chronicles and religious tracts. The hidden legacy, beyond the military and political. The role of gender in Joan's story. One of the most striking aspects of Joan of Arc's legacy is the challenge she posed to contemporary gender norms. In a society where women were expected to be subservient and confined to domestic roles, Joan's military leadership and public persona were revolutionary. She donned male attire, led troops into battle, and asserted a commanding presence in political and military affairs. Joan's actions questioned the rigid gender roles of her time and demonstrated that women could play significant roles in areas traditionally dominated by men. Joan's cross-dressing was particularly controversial and was one of the charges brought against her during her trial. However, her choice to wear men's clothing was both practical and symbolic. It protected her modesty in a military camp and asserted her authority as a leader. Joan's defiance of gender norms continues to resonate, making her an enduring symbol of female empowerment. The spiritual and mystical dimensions. Joan of Arc's life and mission were deeply intertwined with her spiritual beliefs. Her claims of divine visions and voices were central to her identity and mission. These mystical experiences set her apart from other historical figures and contributed to her unique legacy. Joan's spirituality was characterized by a direct and personal relationship with the divine, which she believed guided her actions and decisions. Her spiritual journey and the mystical aspects of her life have been the subject of extensive theological and philosophical analysis. Joan's visions and voices have been interpreted in various ways, from genuine mystical experiences to psychological phenomena. Regardless of their origin, these experiences profoundly shaped Joan's sense of purpose and her unwavering commitment to her mission. The canonization and religious legacy. Joan of Arc's canonization in 1920 was the culmination of centuries of veneration and a recognition of her impact on French and Christian history. Her sainthood acknowledged not only her role as a national heroine, but also her deep faith and the religious significance of her mission. Joan became a symbol of courage, faith, and the struggle against oppression. Her canonization also highlighted the complex relationship between politics and religion. Joan's life and death were deeply political, yet her sainthood emphasized her spiritual virtues. This duality reflects the broader context of her time, where political and religious identities were often intertwined. Joan's legacy as a saint continues to inspire devotion and reverence, both in France and around the world. The cultural and artistic legacy. Joan of Arc in literature and art. Joan of Arc's story has been a rich source of inspiration for writers, artists, and filmmakers. From medieval chronicles to contemporary novels, her life has been retold and reimagined in countless ways. Notable literary works include Shakespeare's Henry VI, where she is portrayed as a complex and sometimes controversial figure, and George Bernard Shaw's play St. Joan, which presents her as a proto-feminist and visionary. In visual arts, Joan has been depicted in various forms, from medieval manuscripts to modern paintings and sculptures. These representations often reflect the cultural and political contexts in which they were created, highlighting different aspects of her character and legacy. The enduring fascination with Joan of Arc in literature and art underscores her status as a cultural icon and a symbol of courage and conviction. The cinematic interpretations. Joan of Arc's story has also been brought to the silver screen in numerous films. The silent film, The Passion of Joan of Arc, 1928, by Carl Theodor Dreyer, is considered a masterpiece of cinema, noted for its intense portrayal of Joan's trial and execution. Other notable films include Joan of Arc, 1948, starring Ingrid Bergman, and The Messenger, The Story of Joan of Arc, 1999, directed by Luc Besson. These films have explored various facets of Joan's life, from her mystical experiences to her military exploits and martyrdom. They have contributed to the mythologization of Joan, portraying her as a timeless figure whose story transcends historical context. The cinematic portrayals of Joan of Arc continue to shape public perception and add to the rich tapestry of her cultural legacy. The influence on French national identity. Joan of Arc as a national symbol. Joan of Arc's legacy as a national symbol of France is perhaps one of her most enduring contributions. She is celebrated as a unifying figure who transcended regional and social divisions to rally the French people against a common enemy. Joan's role in the Hundred Years' War and her subsequent martyrdom became emblematic of the French struggle for sovereignty and independence. Throughout French history, Joan has been invoked during times of national crisis and renewal. During the French Revolution, she was seen as a symbol of the people's power to overthrow tyranny. In World War II, both the Free French forces and the Vichy regime claimed her legacy, demonstrating her broad appeal across political spectrums. Joan's image as a defender of France has made her a powerful symbol of national identity and pride. The political appropriation of Joan's image. The political appropriation of Joan of Arc's image highlights the complexity of her legacy. Different political groups have sought to claim Joan as a symbol of their ideals. For the Catholic Church, she is a saint and a martyr. For nationalists, she is a symbol of patriotism and resistance. Feminists have also embraced Joan as an icon of female empowerment and defiance of traditional gender roles. This multifaceted legacy has made Joan a versatile and enduring figure in French culture and politics. However, it also raises questions about the interpretation of historical figures and the ways in which their legacies are constructed and contested. Joan of Arc's story serves as a reminder of the power of historical narratives and the importance of critically examining the ways in which they are used. Conclusion. The enduring legacy of Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc's life and legacy extend far beyond her military achievements and martyrdom. She challenged contemporary gender norms, inspired religious devotion, and became a symbol of French national identity. Her story has been immortalized in literature, art, and film, and continues to resonate in contemporary cultural and political discourses. Joan's hidden legacy lies in the various ways she has been interpreted and reinterpreted over the centuries. She has been a peasant girl, a warrior, a saint, a nationalist icon, and a feminist symbol. This multifaceted legacy reflects the complexity of her character and the enduring power of her story. As we continue to explore and celebrate the life of Joan of Arc, it is important to recognize the diverse elements of her legacy. Her story offers valuable insights into the intersections of gender, religion, politics, and culture. Joan of Arc remains a powerful symbol of courage, conviction, and the human spirit, a figure whose legacy continues to inspire and challenge us today. Thanks for listening. Like and comment, and don't forget to subscribe to experience more trips to the past with us at Medieval Chronicles 1066. Stay curious.